Okay, so first up on this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to just freshen my calculator up and start nice and fresh. I'll press on, I'll click new, I won't save, I'll add a calculator. I always add a calculator. Then I'm going to start by adding a graph. We want to type the function in. So to get the division symbol, the quotient, we press Control Divide. And then we want 640 over x squared plus 0.5. Oh, we're not seeing anything. Well, if we look at the domain, it goes from 4 to 14. So we want to be starting over at 4 and finishing at 14. Now I'm starting to see a bit, but I'm not seeing everything. So why don't we go and find out what is the value of y when x equals 4? So if I come to here and I press variables, x starts at 4, so that's 40.5. So I can come back to my graph now, and I can double click here. Let's make that 45. Now I see my graph as it's supposed to be seen. So there's the graph. Notice that sorry, let me get my highlighter. Notice here, that's the domain, 4 to 14. So we've got the right looking graph. We need to find the range. How will we find the range? We can find it here on the graph by tracing. So menu, trace graph. And we want 4, enter, enter. And we want 14, enter, enter. So the range, sorry, let me press escape. The range is going to go from 3.77 to 40.5. So in A, we want from 3.77 is less than or equal to y, which is less than or equal to 40.5. B, what is the value of the inverse function when x equals 10? So with the inverse function, if you remember, the way I can solve this problem is on the calculator, I'm going to trace a point. I want to find where y is equal to 10 and then find the intersection. So I can... Where's my Zoom call? No, I want this and I want this. Right. What we can do here is we've got a couple of options. We can press tab and we can say what is y equal to 10, and then we can press menu and find the intersection between these two. This gives us this coordinate here. So the actual function has x equals 8.21 when y equals 10. So the inverse function is going to have, the inverse function is going to have the reverse of that. So on the inverse function, when x equals 10, y equals 8.21. And there's our answer. This is graphically. You can do it on the calculator here on this page as well using nsolve. So menu, algebra, nsolve. And what we want is we want to know when the original function is equal to 10, what is the y value? So we put the original function in here and then solve for x. We get 8.21. So in the context of the question, interpret what the answer means. So we have to read the question a bit here. So what does it mean in terms of the question? So the original function represents the height in centimeters of a cylinder can with diameter x. So what this is the inverse. So the diameter x, sorry, the diameter y is given by the height. So what this one means is when the diameter, when the height is 10 centimeters, the diameter will be 8.21 centimeters. So we have to reverse the logic and the order in that one, and we'll get the answer there. And then lastly, write down the range of the inverse function. Now, if you remember the range, and one of the main things about an inverse function is that the domain and the range switch, and I'm using that to find answer to part B. So if the domain and range switch, then the range of the inverse function is the domain of the original function, and that was given there at the top. So that is equal to, or less than or equal to 4, is less than or equal to 14.